Welcome back to the OTB Disc YouTube channel. OTBDisc.com is going to have all your disc golf needs, whether it's any disc on the market or the best accessories and clothing options to boot. I'm Connor O'Reilly with Team OTB Disc, and today we're here for the 43rd Grip Equipment Kansas City Wide Open in beautiful, windy Kansas City. Bad Rock Creek is a very challenging course, only made more challenging with the changes they made last year. I last played this course 2 years ago, so go check out those videos on my YouTube channel. I played with Cole Verdalen, another OTB Disc teammate, and we broke down the course then. It's definitely gotten a couple of strokes harder into this year. I shot, I think, 2 down there on the front 9, a little bit of a slow finish, but now we're getting to what I'd argue is a slightly more difficult back 9. So let's try to keep it going, try to finish under par here. Let's have some fun. That extra difficulty is gonna rear its head here with a headwind on the 487 foot par 3 10th. Gonna be the most difficult wind for this hole. Right hand backhand, left hand backhand, similar shape here. You gotta get a little bit of movement out of your disc, obviously a little bit more room to the right as you do find those trees at about 60 feet short of the basket there on the left side. Hard to decide whether you wanna go for it or not in this kind of wind. I'm gonna try to go for it either way. Halostar Boss. The wind's kind of more off the left right now than it was a minute ago, so let's take advantage of it. Smash it out there. Got to utilize the grunt. Smash that Halostar Boss straight from OTBDisc.com. Slide it up there to C1 edge right in the middle. When you use code Connor at OTBDisc.com, not only are you going to get flights like that, you're going to get lucky kicks, you're going to get free aces. No, nothing comes free, but you're going to get those aces. You're going to work for them, you're going to get them, and you're going to get free shipping. Everything you can ask for. You got to love starting the back 9 off on the OTB elevated tower hole with the OTB boards in the back. Headwind putt here. Let's use that headwind to keep the disc in the air on a nice floaty bid. Oh, it's supposed to keep us in the air, but we didn't quite use enough legs. At least player A didn't. The menace player B did. Of course he did. This narrow gap split in the middle by this center tree is going to be the main difficulty of a hole like hole 11 here. 383 foot par 3. With the wind off the right, you can really think about throwing this massive hyzer or wind off the left. As a lefty, big hyzer there as well. There are some over the top shots that are kind of funky here, but definitely playable. Though I just like going straight at it. Take the left side of this tree that splits you with a fairway driver on a little bit of turn. In my mind, that's going to be the best way to play this hole. And this right to left wind should help smash the disc out of the air as long as we get it on a little bit of turn. I'm throwing the Z Athena. A little bit of turn. Looking for it to flatten slowly. Or just stay turning. Missed the gap left. Did not set the turn. And now we got to scramble. But we're going to save par. Mark my words. Scramble. Go rubber blend zone. Little flex forehand. Try to stick it close. Little bit left. We're going to have a short headwind putt to save par. You know, I think Disc Golf Pro Tour sounds so glamorous from the outside when you're not the one out there driving thousands of miles every week. It is really nice to see how much better my body feels today. Having a day of rest and not having to drive a lot of distance versus coming from Austin. Yesterday, my body just felt out of sorts, no rhythm. But we bounced back. We're strong. We're here. Anytime you can hear the chains rattling and the putter hasn't even touched the basket, you know it'd be windy. We ain't talking double stacks. I'm taking my disc flip right now. We need every inch we can get. Hyzer flip 12 footer. Ooh, high in the chains. Thought it might blow out on me, but it did not. Let's go. Good par. I'm down to try. You know, if I hit the gap, I'll go through. We'll see. All right, these gents are kind enough to try to let me play through on probably the hardest playthrough hole on the course. You know, it's easy money. Par 4, 652, very narrow gap. A lot of you guys are going to think of this as the Gannon Burr mandatory hole. They had to add a Mando mid-tourney because he threw the big spike ante here. The issue was it was playing onto the green of the next hole, so kind of unsafe, though it was creative. I'm going to go MD3 down the middle and just try to go mid-range here. Oh my gosh, just when you thought you did it. Whoops.
I almost nice shot.
Dang,
Yeah,
I thought it was so good feeling.
Yeah, low, hyzer.
Yeah, you don't need anything more than mid.
Just little.
All day. All day. All right, audio cut out a little bit, I guess, so the session stopped, the video stopped there. Threw a scramble forehand. I was explaining to you guys how if you're afraid of playing through certain holes at your local course, imagine trying to play through the most narrow gap here in the Pro Tour practice. That's what you call good practice. And that's why I love playing through groups at home, so I can get that practice for when it matters the most. Because if you don't practice how you prepare to play, how you gonna play well? A little bit right here, not ideal. Texas turnout. Back to the Iron Samurai. Par save would feel really good on this approach. Too low, too low. We're gonna have to chip one in. Short approach, just out of jump putt range. Y'all know what time it is. Time for the Blue Faith. Give us a bucket. All right, need to keep the disc low on this hole. That's the new theme for hole 12. Okay, we got a little cheeky trying to make that putt instead of putting it close. Now we gotta putt. We gotta focus on here from 24 feet into the right to left. There we go. Took our bogue. I cannot say enough how much of a luxury it is to have a tee pad. You can set the camera on, still have enough room to run up comfortably and throw a shot. Hole 13, 364 feet out of bounds, left and right and long. Pseudo Peninsula. Conor O'Reilly compass in this tailwind. Ace run that gold basket. Drop. Oh, it felt so good, but showing that late fade of that run of compass, wow. I thought it was on the money. I'm gonna go to the Raptor, because I'll probably throw that, depending on the wind, just to try to correct. Such a strong tailwind. Okay, that tailwind off the tee has turned into a right to left as we are almost pinned high on the left side here. A little outside the circle. Oh, I heard the gust coming, raging in the background. So I thought if I putted it soft, it would lift me. But you don't putt with your ears. You're supposed to putt with your hand and your body and your eyes. So, lesson for the next one. Though, if there is a right to left wind, I'd rather miss on a little bit too much turn and a little soft like I just did there. Because now, as you see, we have an easy tap in for par. Whereas if you expose that wing on a right-hand putt, you're gonna lift and maybe it works out. But if not, it's gonna be tough. Once upon a time, hole 14 was but a short-ish forehand hyzer chip to the corner. Now, they've moved us back about 120 feet to the right here as well. Back and right, you know, maybe about 60 feet right, 80 feet back. So, you know, you do the math, 120 feet, straight line, something like that. Anyway, strong tailwind here. You gotta push it out towards those flag banners in the back to give yourself a chance at having vision on your approach. Kobe Bryant, Cloudbreaker, hyzer flip at that white grippy cue. Oh my god, I almost died off the back of the tee there. Into that white grippy cue banner. Use that fat right side of the gap, fading back towards the white banner. And that was pretty much exactly what I'm looking for off this tee. Let's see where we're at. All right, there's Kobe Bryant. Pan. Okay, a little bit short of where you really want to be. Pan the angle up a little bit so you guys can see that tree in the background I'm trying to kind of fade in front of on the forehand. There's a mandatory tree here, so I can't throw the spiking hyzer even though it's almost enticing in this headwind. I'm going to go Optilec Stiletto. Cabernet, Merlot. I'm really just trying to be inbounds on this shot. Don't need to flirt too hard with the birdie on this hole. Not unless you throw a perfect drive. All right, hopefully that doesn't skip too big. I don't know, y'all. We'll find out. You guys know about as much as I do right now. And that's nothing. Not a bad spot to end up after a pretty conservative second shot. Straight into the headwind. Weirdly dyed blue water in the back. RIP to the naturality of this course. Not sure how far the water is behind that wall, but we're gonna find out. We gonna find out? Oh, no, we're not. Because the wall collected us. And there's a little bit of room. Definitely about circle's edge long there. This is a hole I'm identifying as mine. This thing's still on. Well, camera just got blown over. If that doesn't show you how windy it is out here, I don't know what will, to tell you the truth. You know, we got another good snack break here while we wait. On the group ahead, the Larabar. The peanut butter chocolate chip version is absolutely the goated Larabar. I don't know what your favorite flavor is. Let me know in the comments, or let us know in the comments, but it definitely cannot top this. The best candy bar you can have on the course, and only 4 real ingredients: dates, peanuts, chocolate chips, and sea salt. Simple goodness. Larabars. Amazing disc golf snack. Also, recently I feel like I noticed the prices have gone down on these, probably because they haven't sold as fast as they wanted. So go take advantage of that. Way better than that Snickers bar or gummy bears. And now we're here to talk about hole 15. One of the most picturesque holes on the course. 288 feet across the pond. Fake gap on the right here. Real gap on the left. It's just a matter of, are you going forehand, playing for either the water skip shot or up into the bank to the right, or do you take the backhand, which makes the gap feel a little bit bigger, though makes you trust in your backhand quite a bit. Ellicott Envy for me. I'm popping on a little bit of turn through this gap, and if anything, overturn it. There's that overturned miss I was talking about, but I think it's a lot more forgiving than missing flat. And I might even got to circle one. That was pretty lucky. That's the kind of stuff you get when you use code Connor. Free shipping, lucky shots all day. Ooh. I'm here in one of these scenarios where if you mark the disc, you're inside the circle. You don't mark it, you're outside. Are you the type of person who likes to leave it outside here so you can throw your stepper or your jumper? Or do you just go regular stance? Especially on this downhill putt, I don't need to be stepping this thing. The only place I need to be stepping is into the bank to go grab that disc. Because we just scored a birdie. Finally, first birdie of the back 9. Took a little bit of that code Connor love. But that's what you get That's what you can expect when you use code Connor for free shipping at otbdisc.com. 3 holes to play on this glorious disc golf day. Par 5, 959. Up the pretty substantial hill here through the gap off the tee. You can see that pole painted blue up there in the middle. It's a good aim point. If you can beat that, you're going to have a pretty manageable second shot. As you play back down this hill, out of bounds on the left the entire way, thick woods on the right are your obstacles, and then you kind of have a gap as you approach the basket to deal with too. But let's focus on one shot at a time. I'm gonna go Halo Star Wraith here because I need to go hyzer flip on this shot. And in the tailwind, the Wraith is gonna have a little bit less of that finish than the 12 speeds, helping it stay up and not want to get to the ground as fast. That was a great shot. Let's go. Pretty attackable distance here. I'm debating between fairway driver on the second shot just to avoid using too much space in the fairway, but then I lasered to the small stand of trees that's before the gap here on the left. Probably hard to tell, they'll just blend in with the back wall for you guys right now from this view, but we'll see them as we get up closer. But it's only 360 to those trees, and in this tailwind downhill, I feel like I got a real chance to go for this one and get into the gap. Maybe give myself a long eagle look. So I'm gonna go Kobe Bryant Cloudbreaker. Jam it over on a little bit of turn. Let it fight out late. And that proves to me why I probably should have thrown slower. With that tailwind, stabled out on me. Caught the trees I was talking about, kicked down to the left. So hopefully I have a scramble opportunity for the birdie still. I'll throw the Wraith here. I just want to learn this disc. So for me, that was a calculated risk. I figured worst case scenario, I turn it over a little bit, maybe clip some of these branches, drop down. Or other worst case scenario, I do what I did, I don't turn it. I catch these little stand of trees I was talking about before the gap, and they're thinned out on the undergrowth, so very scrambleable from there. I can still possibly save a birdie, worst case par, but I gave myself a chance at maybe getting through, scoring a long 3, or giving myself the easiest 4 ever. And that's why I took the risk. Okay, this is about as far left as I can imagine myself being on this hole. And there's still an opportunity for me to try to save a birdie. It's gonna be one that has to get creative. But you know we got that. Win it out, bust the hatchet out, flippy forehand roller. Easy money. Ooh, curled around to the backside. We're gonna have a putt up at it. We really are. And I guess I didn't see this high shot that I still had for the flexing forehand. Oh. See, you only hit a tree when you want to, when you use code Connor. And I wanted to right there. See, there was my calculated risk. We had a chance at eagle with how I tried to attack the second shot. But this just feels like worst case scenario, and I'm still inside the circle for birdie. So how worst case is it really? Oh, come on. I thought it was going to try to flop out on me. No, sir. Hole 17, 512 feet. Shout out to the 512, my ATX people represent. Par 4, most technical par 4 on the course, I'd say. Definitely the shortest and the most specific. Narrow gap off the tee only leaves you one option. Down that gap, fading a little bit to the left at the end. I found that my Lucid X Justice is the perfect distance for this hole. So that's what I'll be playing here, into the phone booth landing zone. New pin location, up and right of where the previous year's one was. So that's another one of the changes out here, making this hole just a little bit harder. Feels like a money tee shot. Yesterday, I also threw what felt like almost the same shot, but it was a little bit too long. And that one felt a little flatter, but also a little softer. So, according to my calculations, probably in the same spot. Nearly identical to my shot from yesterday, except for maybe 2 feet left of it. Because I think I was a little more pinched yesterday. No, I don't know. This feels about the same. So, I got to be 6 feet less on the forehand to have the ideal gap. Our basket's over there now. No longer this short approach, which I didn't hate because it felt like a tough enough tee shot to where if this is your reward for throwing it good, I didn't hate it. But I do agree that making it a little bit harder is probably good. I just think they could make it a little more defined, some kind of inside line to the basket. There's a wide forehand that I'm going to be taking and hoping to get through. Opto X Stiletto here, the flat top version. Left to right wind should help me get the swing at the end. I just got to set up the sail, the Spike Heiser. Feels good. Oh, almost blew it up. Might even be a bullseye if it sat. Turns out, apparently, I'm good at this hole. And I'll take that. Because that means I'm good at disc golf, y'all. Now, I know the intention on this approach is to bring us here past the FPO and to fade sharply in. Obviously, gravity will kind of pull you down as you get here, but I still think it could be improved upon. If this is the only gap you're going to give, maybe get rid of the 2 tiny trees on the outside just so they don't knock down any shots and it's just these big tree trunks coming in. If that case, I think I would really like it. Either that or leave it as is and maybe give like a secondary straight gap to scramble through. I don't know though, it's short enough. I think the thought process is just to let us deal with it because we're the best players in the world and that's what we're supposed to do. And so I think most players will. But I think there's room for optimization of this hole. Though this bit of terrain is definitely ideal for disc golf right here. Here on the par 5 18, you're gonna need a big shot to set yourself up for success. Playing this valley shot that ends up a little bit above where the tee area is for the good lies. You're gonna need either a stable or a straight distance driver, depending on the angle you wanna throw. In this left to right wind though, I'm gonna definitely throw a little more stable. Go with the Halo Star Boss, just to avoid any of the thick rough on the right. Out of bounds line on the left the whole way, kind of snakes and contorts as we get up there to the dog leg right. And we'll talk about that when we get there. Big drive. Oh man, had such good speed, but I was just too low. A little bit greedy with my speed instead of really hitting the angle right. So, we're gonna have to play it for birdie, but guess what? That's what we were doing anyways, so perfect. Pretty tricky spot to be over here on the right and short. I can either chip it around these trees, give myself a longer approach, which I don't love, or I can attack this middle gap inside the trees, try to get up there, give myself a shorter approach. So I'm gonna go for that with the faith. Okay, I think that was great. Hopefully it avoided the out of bounds. That kind of elbows in right there. But I think I chose the right disc. And when you use otbdisc.com, it's ensured that you can choose the right disc because they have over 1,500 molds in stock. A bunch of different variants of each plastic. Really only the best options. Virtually in your hands, since they give you a picture of every disc, a stiffness and dome rating as well. So you don't have to feel that thing up with your grimy fingers. I'm just kidding. You probably just washed your hands, so you're not grimy. None of you guys. No, none of us. We're never grimy. But we do have the best options available at otbdisc.com. Code Connor free shipping. You know what it is. Well, I'm glad I'm here practicing because I just tried this inside gap for the first time and it put me to a really good spot. And you know the old saying, we only prepare for that whence we care, right? I care about playing well. So here I am preparing. I also care about throwing only the best options on the market, like this Delaware Champion Compass that you can find at otbdisc.com. Tailwind, about 300 feet, about 30 feet uphill. Gonna play 330 distance-wise. Oh my gosh. Just short. And it looks like it scooted barely imbalanced out of that grass. We got away with one there, y'all. We got away with one. Wow, I knew we got away with one, but I didn't realize it was gonna be that close. Definitely make sure to miss along out the back next time with the Raptor. Holy cow. This wind is crazy, y'all. Shout out to whoever decided the out of bounds should start at 22 feet and not 23. They saved me there. Tailwind putt to finish with 4 straight birdies. Let's see. We are back at 1 down after the bogey on 12. Then we got to 2 down, 3 down, 4 down. All right, we'll make this. This will be for a 5 down, which in this wind feels honestly like it would be 1060 rated. For all the marbles for the win. Kansas City wide open. Kansas City wind open. Yeah, I thought we were playing about the wind. Another camera. Let's see if it stays up this time. Razzed by our own damn camera. They said it doesn't show you how windy it is in the low well. Thanks again, you guys, for joining. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the MTBS YouTube channel. I'm Connor O'Reilly, and we'll see you guys soon.